So today's topic is time range, and also I'll show you how the dynamic routing protocols work. So when I say show route, you can see I have configured a static default route. Today I'm going to use some dynamic routing protocols instead of static default route. So I'm just removing the route, saying no route outside 20.1.1.2. When I say show route, you can see there's no routing protocol running, neither static nor dynamic. So when I try to ping outside, I am not able to ping because selling no route. So if I want to run any routing protocols, so how many routing protocols I can run? You can run Eigrp, OSPF and RIP. So I'll start with RIP version 2. Okay. Network 10.1.1.0. Network 192.168.10.0. Network 20.1.1.0. So when I say show route, nothing is there. When I say show run router, you can see I've configured router RIP version 2. Now I'll go on R1. I'll remove all these static routes. I'll remove all these static routes that I've configured. And instead of static, I'm going to configure dynamic routing protocol, that is RIP. Router RIP version 2, network 12.1.1.0, network 20.1.1.0. So when I go here and say show IP route, you can see the protocol should run. Recording. And when I say show route, you can see there's a route big installed here where it's RIP. Administrative distance of RIP is 120 and the metric value is 1 hop away. I'll go on R2 and say router RIP version 2, network 12.1.1.0, network 20.1.1.0. Sorry, you don't have this network here. Network 172.16.10.0. Show IP route. I need to remove the default static route because the administrative distance of static route is 1 and of RIP is 120. So you can see there's a network called 10, there's a network called 20, and there's a network called 192 which is being received by this guy. So can you go here? Can you ping? Yes. Can I ping from here? Can I ping from here? Can I ping from here? Yes.
Yes, sorry to interrupt you, Munawar. Could you show me the topology again? Because I was a late join.
Same topology, ma'am. Every day we are using the same topology.
Okay. No worries then. Thank you.
Okay. So ASA is there, R1 is there, R2 is there. So we are doing dynamic routing protocol on ASA, R1 and R2. Okay. So when
Yeah,
I
but
say show route, I can see the network 172 and 12 is received. So end-to-end connectivity is there. Okay. So yes, my ASA support rep version 2, and you see how he communicated with R1 with the multicast address 224.0.0.9. So there is a multicast communication going on with R1 on 224.0.0.9, and they are exchanging the networks. Routing information protocol rep administrative distance is 120. It's a distant vector routing protocol with lot of drawbacks, no neighborship, routing loops. No doubt they came out with loop avoidance like split horizon, unreachable, and poison reverse. But still, RIP is having a lot of drawbacks. His administrative distance is also quite high. Metric calculation way is also very outdated. Hop count. Okay. Maximum hop count is he can go is up to 15. 16 is unreachable. Distant vector routing protocol. Routing on rumors. No neighborship. Okay. Routing loops are there. So it's not stable, it's not good. So we'll remove router RIP. So when I remove the router RIP, then I'll go for EIGRP. Now EIGRP is considered as one of the best. Why? Because it was Cisco proprietary till 1993 something. After that they made it open standard. It's a hybrid routing protocol, somewhat distant vector, or you can say advanced distant vector routing protocol. It does neighborship. Router ID concept is also there. Convergence is very faster in EIGRP. Loop, there is no routing loops. Routing loop is totally avoided in EIGRP. Loop free routing protocol, you can say. Reliable protocol because of RTP, reliable transport protocol. Diffusing update algorithm is being used for calculating the best path, which is called successor, and the backup path, which is called feasible successor. Neighborship is always maintained, that is neighbor table, topology table, and routing table. Do equal cost load balancing as well as unequal cost load balancing also. So EIGRP is good in administrative distance also. The AD is 90. Metric calculation is also very good, not like RIP. Bandwidth and delay is the default metric calculation. Hop count, if compared to RIP, is 255. Okay. Multi-protocol support, like IP, earlier we used to have IPX, Apple Talk. Unequal cost load balancing, authentication support, Loop free routing protocol convergence is very, very faster. So you see, there are a lot of qualities that you will find in EIGRP. So we are going to use this protocol EIGRP, that is Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol, which is having a autonomous system, that is some number. If you really want to make two EIGRP speaking routers work, you should always have hello packets between these two EIGRP speaking routers, or between ASA and router. K values, that is metric calculation, that is bandwidth and delay, should be same on both the side, because EIGRP follows a composite metric, that is bandwidth, delay, reliability, load and MTU. By default it follows bandwidth and delay, so all of them should have the same metric calculation follow, that is K values. So the first important thing in EIGRP you should take care is what? Hello packets should be always exchanged between the two EIGRP speaking routers. Second very important thing is metric. Third, AS number. Two EIGRP speaking routers should have the same AS number. Fourth, which is optional, that is authentication password. So always remember, there are certain things you should always match with other EIGRP speaking routers. Administrative distance is very less compared to other routing protocol, like REP is 120, EIGRP is 90, 90, and OSPF is 110. So in dynamic routing protocol, this is one of the good protocol which is having lot of good features. Network are advertised with the network command, and also you mention wildcard in routers, but here I told you you don't have wildcard, so you're going to mention what? Subnet mask. You don't have wildcard mask in ASA. They have almost removed from all the routing protocol. Even OSPF also now supports subnet mask. So I have to advertise my own network, which I did. Now I'll go to R1, remove, rip, run EIGRP. Okay, by mistake I'm running EIGRP 1. Always advertise the network. Here also you can now advertise subnet mask. Now you see, this fellow is not becoming neighbor to R2 as well as ASA. When I say show route, ping, say it's telling no route. So I'll go on router 1 and try to rectify my error. See, as soon as I did the gave the right this thing, show IP EIGRP neighbor is showing that I am neighbor to ASA and I am neighbor to R2 also. 20111 is the IP address of ASA. Show IP EIGRP neighbor is the command on routers, but show EIGRP neighbor is the command on firewalls. It's showing you H means handle, that is the sequence number, first neighbor, so it is 0. Address is 20112, that is the IP address of R1. Is receiving this neighbor from outside interface. So when I do show route, I can see I have received network 172.16 with the AD of 90, 12 network with the AD of, and this is nothing but the metric value that is calculated by diffusing update algorithm. I hope you must be knowing the formula. 10 raised to 7 divided by bandwidth in bits or slowest bandwidth in kbps along the path, summation of delay divided by 10 multiplied by 256. So you see 172.16 is received with the metric value of 219806. Show EIGRP topology will show you the feasible distance, advertised distance. Feasible distance is nothing but the total distance or the total metric value. So the metric value for reaching 172.16 is 2198016. That is feasible distance. FD is nothing but feasible distance. That is total distance. Sorry. When I say show IP EIGRP neighbor, show IP EIGRP topology. Now I'll go here and say show IP EIGRP neighbor. Show IP route. I can see 20 network. Can I ping? Yes. Can ASA ping? So any doubt with EIGRP? See how EIGRP is being supported by ASA. It became neighbor with R1. Multicast address is 224.00.10. Clear? EIGRP. Show IP EIGRP neighbor. All of you clear with EIGRP?
Yeah.
Okay. So I removed, and now I'm running OSPF. Process ID 1, router ID, whatever IP address I am having, I'll keep it as a router ID. Okay. If I don't keep also, he will take it. Network 20 dot area 0, area 0, no wildcard mask, I told you. So when I say show run router, he is showing me.
I believe same configuration we need to follow on ASA as well. For routers, OSPF and EIGRP
Yes,
on ASA.
yes,
Means there is no any kind of a
change.
changes or syntax
Yeah,
changes. I
only,
believe the same configuration.
yes, only thing earlier I used to tell that there is no wildcard mask, there is subnet mask, but now even on routers, routers also support subnet mask. That was the only change.
Okay.
There is no wildcard mask in
Okay.
ASA, and there was wildcard mask on routers for OSPF and EIGRP.
Okay.
But again now, all 15 IS support subnet mask also. So there is
Subnet
no
mask.
change.
So our
Only,
life make easy.
yeah, the only change in the command show IP EIGRP neighbor. Here it is show EIGRP.
Right. I got it.
Okay.
Got it.
So network 12.1.1.0 255.255.255.0 area 0. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Yes, so loading is done in full. Highest IP address of any active physical interface. Show IP OSPF neighbor. So now on ASA, you see we are running OSPF open shortest path first. This is one of the best protocol we are running now, industry standard. Link state routing protocol, faster convergence, no loops. First time complete routing table, after that only triggered updates. Authentication support. Area concept or area hierarchy, we call it two-tier hierarchy. All the regular areas have to get connected to backbone area, which is area 0. Support for summarization, VLSM discontiguous network, classless interdomain routing. Again, AD is also good, 110 after EIGRP. This fellow is having a good AD. Metric calculation is again cost, that is bandwidth only, same like EIGRP. 10 raised to 8 divided by bandwidth in bits, the formula. Hello time and dead time has to be same on both the routers for forming a neighborship. Router ID has to be unique. Authentication, if done, then authentication password has to be same on both the routers. Area ID has to be same on both the routers. The subnet and the subnet mask advertise between the two OSPF speaking router has to be same. Okay, so these are certain important things you have to follow. Show OSPF neighbor will show you if the network type is BMA network, that is broadcast multi-access network, then there is a DR-BDR election, that is designated router and backup designated router. So in ASA and R1 there is a Ethernet connection, or you can say fast Ethernet or gigabit Ethernet. Then there will be a DR and BDR. So ASA was elected as DR and R1 was elected as BDR. The criteria for electing DR and BDR is what priority, highest priority is considered, that is 255, the maximum. The default priority is 1. So the tiebreaker is the highest router ID. So if you see R1 ASA is having the highest router ID of 192.168.10.1. That is why,
Munawar,
yeah.
okay, I think I just got answered. On the ASA, ne? Uh, on the please go on that configuration of the ASA. I saw something there. Is it possible that when you see that on the interface it's written outside? Is this how the ASA functions, or there's a way that it can maybe you can maybe tell it to write maybe interface serials 0 Ethernet 0 or Ethernet 3, or that's the standard inside or outside or DMZ?
See, see, basically what happens now in ASA, or you can say, if I give you example, when a newborn is born, we always call him baby, 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 because there is no name for that baby. And then when the like parents give a name, so that baby got a name like Michael. So next time when somebody comes and say baby, the parents object and say, don't say baby, we have given a beautiful name called Michael, so you call this baby with Michael, not with the term baby. Baby is until unless you don't have a name. So in ASA what happens, until unless, first of all you have to give the name to all the interface. Once the name is given, then it will always be advertised, it will always be identified with this name. So in ASA case, if you see in normal R1, if you see when I say show IP OSPF neighbor, R1 is showing that I am neighbor to ASA with the help of interface E0 by 0, and I am also neighbor to R2 with the help of serial interface 1 by 0. But in ASA, ASA is neighbor to R1 with interface E0 by 0 or E0, and that E0 by E0 is already named as what, outside. So he is showing you the name of that interface. Otherwise R1 is showing what, I am connected to ASA with E0 by 0 and I am connected to R2 with serial 1 by 0. Only difference between R1 and ASA is that ASA is telling I won't give the interface number, that is serial 1 by 0 or E0 by 0. Instead of that, I am advertising the name. Now who gave this name? Administrator. So administrator should know what is the meaning of outside, or he can just go and check it out. So when he checked it out, okay, outside means what, 2110, sorry, 2111, and that interface of outside is nothing but E0. How he came to know? Show interface IP brief. Got it? So instead of telling E0, when I give the command neighbor, he is giving the name of that interface. I hope this was your question and I answered right. correct? You were asking me
Perfect.
that same
Perfect.
question, no? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
You were confused why he's giving outside. Actually, he's giving E0 only, but he's telling I don't like, every time I don't like calling someone. No, I say, hey, you come here. So that person might object me, say, why you're calling me you? My parents have given me some good name. Like Indians have a very always having a good habit of telling, I don't know it is good or bad. What is your good name? So somebody asked me from Nigeria, then why you people always say what is your good name? So I said we are like, we are being taught in school that whenever you are asking someone's name, don't ask what is your name. So what is your good name? So he said it's a name. No, you can ask it, what is your name? So I said, no, if I ask what is your good name, he feels very happy because he thinks I have a very good name. That's just a question I'm asking. So whenever I ask what is your good name, that fellow was like, surprised. Why you are asking me what is your good name? You could say directly ask me what is your name. So people love when you ask them their name instead of calling, hey, you come here, you come here. Said, boss, I'm having a good name, man. So AS is very punctual about that. He said, I won't keep E0. Instead of that, I will give you outside because already being named. Okay. So when I
All
said
right.
show,
Thanks.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
It is a very nice explanation, Munawar.
Nice way of, huh? Just,
It is a very nice explanation.
okay. Thank you. Thank you. Because ASA is also very emotional. You always, and talkative also. When I said telnet is asking me who's going to telnet. No, I told you, no. When I said telnet is asking me who's going to telnet. So I said somebody who is 192.168.10.2 who is going to telnet. Then he asking me what is the subnet mask of that fellow, and then he's asking me from where he is going to telnet. So I have to tell him that he is going to telnet from inside. So this is all. See, it is a definitely it's a command, but I am making it interesting so that you remember why the things are like that. Instead of writing in router line VTY 04, still people get confused when I teach them CCNA and I teach them line VTY, they are confused. You are doing telnet, what is VTY? So at least in ASA they made it like that. See, I am telling you, I am doing ASA from when there was no ASA. Like I am doing firewall when there was no ASA. Pix was there, and Pix was really very bad in command line. A lot of things were messed up. You need to put curly bracket, you need to put box bracket, you need to add lot of syntax, and if you forget those syntax, so afterwards they found out that it is very not good. People won't like this box and people won't purchase this box. Administrator will also hate this box if we don't make it simple, the command simple, instead of making it complicated. But then Cisco also complained, they said, boss, you should be happy if the things are complicated, people will respect you. Otherwise router fellow will also configure ASA, he knows, because he knows router, so he knows firewall, so you look something different. But I people always like what simple things. And then he also came out with GUI was not there in the beginning. So he said let me compete with checkpoint because checkpoint was purely GUI graphic. So now he is competing with other firewalls in GUI. But I always love command line. That is why I started with command line. Otherwise, if I teach you in GUI, in 2-3 lectures, I will finish the whole topic. Because in GUI, what is there? Checkboxes are there, man. Okay, everything is checkbox. In order to enable an interface, I don't have to type no shut. I have to put a checkbox. Tick in the check. That's all. No doubt, people use GUI only, but in the exam, you have to type. If you are doing FW, that is FMC, next generation firewall, you have to use GUI. But I'm just talking about some years back. When we were configuring ASA, we always comfortable in doing command line rather than doing GUI. But anyway, you can do with the both the help. Okay, because sometimes if GUI is not working, at least you'll have something in your hand by doing command line configuration. Anyway, so we did routing protocol and you saw that how the OSPF is working. Again, 110 is the AD and the cost is the metric calculation, that is 84 on the basis of bandwidth. I told you 10 raised to 8 divided by bandwidth in bits. If you calculate, you'll get 60 and then 20. I don't know he got 84 according to the link bandwidth. Okay, so OSPF is seen with O means O routes means all intra area routes. Okay, in OSPF O means intra area routes, OIA means inter area routes from some other area, and OE2 means external type 2 routes. If you want external type 1 route also, you need to do something. So ASA is like, why we are doing dynamic routing, because we have a MPLS connectivity between a branch. We don't have internet now in front of us, and this is our own perimeter router. This is your branch router. Everything is supported now. So we are doing routing protocol. It is not necessary that always in front of you there is internet. There might be internet, okay, somewhere here, but here, so you can have a default route, no problem. But at least for now we are doing what, something where we have a private cloud, we have our own router, we have our own router of branch, and we are running what, dynamic routing protocol between ASA routers. Okay, so yes, my router support Eigrp, OSPF, and this thing. Next is time range. Now what is time range? Time range means you want your access list to trigger at but this particular time. So I created a time range called ABC. Okay, I can specify the period. Now why people go for time range? Because I remember when I was working for a company as a network engineer, they used to have a time based access list that after 6 switch off the internet, so that nobody sit back after 6 and do misuse of the internet by downloading movies and watching movies online or misusing those internet pack. But now we have a lot of facilities on internet also. It's cheaper now, so companies don't bother. But still we have URL filtering policies being applied, that we don't allow torrent sites, we don't allow movies, we don't allow other blacklisted sites to get opened. Okay, that filtering is still there, but in many cases we use this time range to either filter, okay, the traffic at a particular time or particular days. So like I want all this traffic to be filtered today, that is on Friday. Every Friday I want this traffic to be filtered. Okay, but before this let me check what is my time, because my firewall is going to follow his own time, not my time. So let me set the time. Okay, 20 48 28th November 2020. So when I say show clock, showing, so this is my current time now, 20:48. It's seconds are working now. Okay, so once again I'll go and set the time for Friday. I'll say 20:51 to 20:54. So I have set a time range similar to what you do in routers also. Friday 20:51 to 20:54. Okay, still the clock is tickling to 20:48. Still there is a time. So when I go here and see the access list, show xlet, translation is there. Show route. Okay. Show run access list. You see I have allowed people to do echo. So let's see whether they can do echo. So ping 20.1.1.10. Show xlet 20.1.1.10 is the IP address of server 1. Repeat 10,000. Show CONN detail. So ICMP traffic is coming from 170 to 16.10.2 and going to 10.1.1.2. Show access list. You can see there is a hit here. Now I'll go on access list out underscore in permit ICMP any on host, or I will go and see what exactly is the access list. Okay. So I'll go here and say time range ABC. Show CONN detail. Show access list. Now you see when I applied this access list on this, where I said anybody trying to reach object server 1, you see there is a term called inactive. Now you must be thinking why I'm getting this reply, because see, echo request is already done, so some replies are still coming in. I need to stop this. Okay. You can see my access list has become inactive. Why it has become inactive? Because I said allow this traffic to start 2051. So let's see. So run time range. Let me check the clock. Still it is 2049. You change it. You see, still inactive. There is a term called inactive. Why? Because he understood that I have applied a time range ABC which says start the traffic at 51 and end the traffic at 54. So according to the ASA, still it is 2050. Moving very slow.
I have one query.
Yeah, tell me.
See, what we have configured there, start time is 2050, right? And
Yeah,
end time 2054. In that time, traffic should be passed from ASA to route, right?
yeah, because where I applied is telling permit, no?
Yes. So traffic should be passed, but traffic is not allowed there. It is dropping.
Yeah, because it's still time is not up. Now the time is up.
Okay.
The time was not up, no?
What the time is then, huh?
2051 now. I gave what? 2051 to 2054. Can you see? It started. Now the access list is also active. Active. Why it's active? Because the time is, it won't trigger at exact time. Huh? It will, once the time is up, it might here and there few seconds. So now if you see the time, it's pinging. So I made R1 as NTP server. It takes some time. Show access list. Still it is 2053. It's not 2054. I told you, no, it will stop only after 54 because I said what? Time range from 2051 to 2054. But remember one thing, exactly at 54 it won't stop. It will be like 1 minute more. You consider 1 or 2 minutes more. Still it is active. Now it is 10:54. Let's see. Access list is still active. I told you it will take some time. Hardly 1 or 2 minutes delay. See now. Inactive. Stop. Triggered now. So clock. Why it became this thing? Clock time zone plus GMT plus 5:30. Now it is showing right time. See, 20:59 because it got synced with NTP. Show NTP association. You can see star. Show NTP status. Clock is synchronized. Show NTP information. Show NTP packets. Show NTP association. She got associated with 20.1.1.2. Show NTP status. Still not unsynchronized. I think synchronized because it's taking the right time from, say, exactly 9. Here also 9. So one more time range I create. Suppose you can go on creating XYZ, where I say periodic, I can say daily at 21, daily at 21:05 to 21:06. Show run access list. Go and apply it for this one. Show access list. See, it got inactive because show run time range I said 21:5. It is still 21:1. Show NTP status. Why it is not getting? Show NTP association. Access list. Permit access list out underscore in permit TCP any NTP is 123. Port number 123.
This is local reference clock only, no?
What?
It's showing the local reference clock is local, it is showing.
Yeah. I said NTP master 1, no? Stratum level is 1. R1 is NTP server. Stratum level is 1. Show clock. I'll just write it down. Let restart.
If we give the stratum one, then it will take it as a on clock, right?
No, in one also it will take it from NTP server. No, I have just specified. No, that is the best stratum. It will take
It is
it
showing
from.
the local, it is not.
It start with stratum 1. No.
Can you go to the R1, please?
Okay.
The reference is local, right? It is.
Yeah, because clock is R1 bears the clock. No.
Okay. That means it is on clock, right?
Yeah, its own clock. He's not pulling it from some satellite, or he's not pulling it from
Okay.
internet. He's having his own clock. From there, he's pulling server. That is why the reference is local. So entropy association. Reference clock
Because
is local.
the address is 127.
Yeah,
127.
yeah. Sometimes it gets problem. Otherwise, see, if I go and do it on R2, show clock.
No, the clock synchronization, it will take some time.
Yeah.
It
See
will
now,
not immediately clock. It will
NTP.
immediately synchronize.
Yes. Show clock. Show NTP status. So NTP association. Show clock. Still not synchronized. It's showing EET. It takes some time. Anyway, I just restarted AC. So in time range, what happened? It accordingly works periodically, daily, weekends, weekdays. You can also specify the date. Instead of daily, instead of weekend, instead of weekdays, you can also specify the date. Like you can mention the holidays, and on those holidays you don't want the employees to misuse your internet. Normally people do it for calling privileges and all, so that people don't use ISD calls and international misuse of international calls. So we have a call blockers or call blocking facility also on call managers. Not synchronous. Anyway, it will take some time. Show access list inactive, because when I started it was. So when I say show run time range, it should work actually, because it is 7. Sorry, it should not work because it is 21. So if I can edit, you see that inactivity is gone. What happened? No, I should try it for the second server. Second server is active because I applied it for second server. Server 2, show clock. It is 21:09. Show run time range 21:09. Taking proper clock. Okay. What about R2? Anyway, so I hope you understood time range 21.9. It will not exactly stop at 21.9. It will let the 21.9 pass on till 21.10. It will stop at 21.10. 1 minute here and there. Show access list. If you don't want this time range to make this policy stop, like I told you, we have a policy where I can telnet 20.1.10 Cisco. So yes, people can telnet also. Only ping is not allowed. So if people are telnetting, that means this policy is hit. Now I want to stop immediately this telnet. So I'll just go on this access list and just say what? Inactive. I can use this word inactive normally also. The term is what? Inactive. If I remove it, the term inactive can be used normally also. If I add one term called inactive after the access, this is not there in normal access list. I think they came out with this term also in normal access list. Access list 110 permit TCP any time range is there. Inactive term is not there. So normal router access list don't have. But here you have an option of inactive. Keyword for disabling an access list element. Okay. The same thing my time range also did. He did the same thing. Okay. If I see someone doing telnet and if I don't want or if I want him to log out immediately, I can stop him also with the help of command called shun. So what happened? He got locked. Show shun. Shun means immediately stop him. All the active connection can be stopped. He'll put a policy there that don't allow this user. Okay, shun this user. You can see he got hanged. Show IP INT brief stop, but I need to have a policy also. I said any. So can I do? Yes. show session, show CONN detail, telnet is there, show CONN connection, all, show shun. If I say no shun, once and that means I want to release this fellow. So when I say show shun, I don't have a blocking list. Shun means you can immediately stop an active connection, and not only stop, you can block him. It's like putting a policy of blocking this particular host coming from outside. See, normally this happens when you have IPS. So just to give you a brief about IPS working with ASA. Now we have NG next generation firewall, which is also clubbed with IPS. Earlier we used to have IPS separately, intrusion prevention system. So that time IPS, suppose, is working in IDS mode. IDS means what? Intrusion detection. That time this IPS is connected to a switch with a port span. Okay. Now there is some connection coming from internet, and this connection is being spanned by this IDS in promiscuous mode. Why it is called promiscuous mode? Because only one single interface connected of this IPS to this switch, and he is monitoring all those connections. How? With the help of span, switch port analyzer. Now who is the action taker now? ASA. IPS is not inline. There are two modes in IPS, remember, inline and promiscuous. Inline means standing in front of the connection. If you're standing in front of the connection, you can immediately stop him to go out inside. Now like ASA is standing in line. Whenever the connection comes, ASA is there in between the connection and the servers. So he's in line. But we don't have that term for ASA. The term inline and promises is for IPS. Many times what happens, we use this IPS inline in some other network, and for some other network we use one more port available, spare port, as what? Promiscuous, to monitor those connections. So that time, if we notice some malware, if you notice some kind of threats, if you notice some kind of attack, you will immediately instruct ASA to shun that connection. Shun means what? Stop. Immediately stop this connection and prepare a blocking list for this 172.16.10.2. So in ASA, you have an immediate command called shun. Now this shun command also is being automatically inserted by IPS on the instruction of, he instructs the ASA to use shun command. That means they're both communicating with each other. IPS immediately tells, boss, there is an infected connection coming on from 172.16.10.2. Please immediately shun this connection. And ASA immediately put a policy of shun and immediately stop this user. You can manually also do that. You can manually also do this connection shun. Specify the source IP address of a mischievous host. Shun means to stop, to block, to stop the immediate active connection. That is why you see the term mischievous connection. Mischief, somebody is doing mischief. You allowed him as a genuine user and he started doing mischief. or there might be a case where he is trying to send some malicious activity. That is why. Okay. So shun IP address of the mischievous host, and also you can specify where he is trying to go. That means he is allowed to go in LAN. Only when he try to do mischief with a particular destination, then only he will not be allowed. So you can specify the host IP address who is doing mischief, and you can also specify the destination. You can also specify the port number. So I just denied him for this port number. Now this fellow is 10.3. So he is allowed. Actually, he should be allowed for 20.11.11. I don't know. Let me check. I think ping is also denied, no? Because of time range. Show access list. Inactive. One 172.16. Actually, he should deny it only for 20. I don't know. So no shun. 172.16.10.2. Shun. 10.1.1.3 terminators. Source port. I will check it why it's not okay. Otherwise, if I am specifying the destination that is 21.1.10, it should not be shun for other. Okay. So I hope you understood time range. I hope you understood shun. I told you about logging that day. You can enable logging on ASA by saying logging enable. Where you want to enable the logging, say I want to enable logging on server, say 10.1.1.2, where it is DMZ. And I told you 7 means what? Emergency alert, critical errors, warning, notification, information. Okay. Suppose I activate this log. So I'll say logging host DMZ 10.1.1.2. This log TCP. You need to do that. No need. Logging trap 7. So when I say show run logging, I have 3 commands. Logging enable. I don't want this logging to be done on console. It's going to display that. Logging enable, logging trap, debugging. Why it's taking debugging? Because that is the 7th level. So he will trap from 0 to 7. Okay. Now if I want all the logging from R1 also should go to that syslog. So I'm going to use what logging on. Logging host. Where is the host? So in our case, it is 20.1.1.10 and logging trap 7. So you see port number 514, UDP port number 514 is active. Now there won't be any logging received by ASA. Why? Because there is no policy to receive the logging. So I need to add one policy. Access list out underscore in permit UDP any on host for syslog. So when I say access list, you see there is no hit count on 10.1.12 for syslog coming in from outside. So I'll try to do something. So IP int brief config T interface S1 by 0 shut no shut. So you see, because of this, there are a lot of things that went down. That is, OSPF went down. You see, there is a hit count of 1. That means R1 is sending a log to 10.1.12, that is 21.1, who is a log server. So firewall should entertain those logs. Firewall will not allow any traffic to come from security level 0 and reach the server, whether it is R1. So in order to support the log, you need to add one access list on ASA. You saw this access list is being hit when I did shut no shut. Okay. Show IPINT brief. Show run pipe section OSPF. When I went there and say no router OSPF 1, and then I said router OSPF 1, and then I did this two network. So I did some changes. So you go and see, I don't know, hit count should increase because if there is any changes on R1, he will immediately inform. Like last time I shut down this port. Or I create some loop back. Console logging 72 messages. Logging to 20.1.1.10. 28 messages lines logged. See, 31 messages lines logged. 100% it is sending the logs to ASA and ASA is allowing this. Because I told R1 that whatever logs you have, you send it to. I'm enabling the logging here also. So I say logging host logging trap 7 logging on. See, now there is a hit count. One more hit count coming from R2. So yes, my firewall support logging. So run only command is instead of on, it is enable. Rest is same. What you do on router, same. But you need one access list if that logs are coming from 0 to high, and this access list allow UDP traffic, that is syslog. NTP is 123. You can break password of ASA. You need to check the version on ASAs. Okay. Let me check the actual ASA is working or not. The rack is not working. When I say show version, you see 0x. Actually, the version is 0x1. Okay, 0x1 is the default. Like for router, you have 0x2102. For firewalls, we have 0x1. Okay, here it is not showing properly. It is 0x1. If you have already set the password and if you want to break, process is same what you have done in on router. Hard boot, Press escape or break to interrupt the boot sequence, and you have to say what? Confreg 0x4. On router you say 0x2142. Here you have to do what? 4. 4 is nothing but you on that bit. Actually it is off. So you on that bit and you bypass booting your ASA and bringing configuration file from startup. Okay, rest the process is same. Copy startup to running and then like that. So don't forget the config registry. You have to check. It is 0x. I don't have live firewall, otherwise I would have shown you. What is the default registry? Okay. I hope this is clear. Password break. It is similar what you have on routers. So we did routing protocols today. We did time range. We did logging. Now we'll do what? AAA. Now, all of you. Now we are using AAA. Now what is AAA? Authentication, authorization, and accounting. The first A says initially when you try to enter into some company, you first have to authenticate yourself. No, you have to prove who are you. Who are you means you have to give your username and password. So authentication means the question is asked is who are you? And you have to give your identity, that is username and password. Once you are allowed or once you are permitted in the company after authentication, then comes what? Authorization. Authorization means what you can do. What is your privileges? Like some company might be having free lunch facility to their employees. So when you are entering as a guest, you can't go for a free lunch because that free lunch facility is for the company's employee, not the guest. But some companies might have policy that if the guest is coming, they will serve you food at some discounted price. You have to pay. So you are authorized for that because you are the guest of that company. Okay. So authorization tells the user that what you can do. In simple terms, privileges. You might be knowing that we have a privilege level from 0 to 15. When you are in user exe mode, you have 0 privilege level. When you enter with the enable command, you have 15 privilege level. Current privilege level is 15. So 0, 1 and 15 is reserved. So 2 to 14 you can manipulate. You can do things. Okay. 15 means you can do anything. You can even delete the configuration. You can restart a router. You can erase the IOS of the router. So authorization comes after authentication. First comes who are you. Second comes what you can do. Now what is the third A? Accounting. Accounting started in the days of internet. I remember when I purchased internet, somebody was watching my usage. Now also, if you go for Reliance, they will always keep tab on your activity, daily usage. You can't exceed more than the allocated bandwidth in your data. If you do that, they will immediately send you a message that all your data package for today is finished. Now, if you want to continue, you can buy. So there are people who will, You will spend their whole daily target package in watching movies, and then they will buy it also if they are out. So that time they'll earn profit. So accounting came from that terminology. They wanted to find out what is your usage for billing purpose. And in a company might monitor your activities. They will try to find out how you are utilizing your internet. What are the websites? Which are the websites you are visiting? What downloads, what uploads you are doing? That is called accounting. Everything will be monitored. Which IP addresses you are visiting. So it is risky when you are using company's internet. See that you use it properly. Don't try to misuse it, because that AAA activity is going on. What is that? First A, authentication. When you log in, your user ID will be checked. Authorization. You cannot do anything on the servers, or you have only selected servers in access. Now when you want to do AAA, my router, my switch need some activation, that is AAA new model command. But just because firewall, ASA firewall is a firewall, he don't need that activation. So you don't have to put AAA new model command. On routers, switches, you need to do AAA new model command. But on firewall, you don't have to do that. It's by default activated. You can tell your router that what to do with this AAA. You want him to do authentication, you want him to do authorization, you want him to do accounting. So same way, in ASA, you have two categories of authentication or AAA. One is for console. What is console based authentication? What is this category, console authentication? Management of device, that is management of ASA. You can manage your ASA in many ways. What is the first way you can manage your ASA firewall? Console. Another term for console is serial. You use serial cable, that is console cable is also called serial cable. So the term here is serial. The category name is console. Or you can say management. Management of a device, management plane. So you can manage your ASA via console. You can manage your ASA via telnet. You can manage your ASA via SSH. You can manage your ASA via HTTPS. Okay. So you want authentication. What is the category of that authentication? That you have to specify later on. So you said I want to manage my ASA via serial. What is the category of that? Or you can say administrative authentication or management authentication. You have to select this keyword to tell my ASA that this belongs to administrative authentication. Good. What is the database I have to follow? I'm telling anyone connects the console cable to you, please ask him for username and password. But now you see I have not created any local database. What is local database? My firewall should know. If somebody connects, he should know who is that guy. So I'm telling you, boss, don't allow anyone to connect. And if they connect, you ask them their username and password. So AS is telling good, I will ask them username and password. And the other fellow is telling my username is Khan and my password is Cisco. I'm going to check. So if I say this command is telling boss, your local database is empty, you didn't told me, like you are not told me who is the user. So first I have to create what? In fact, I can put a privilege also. So when I say show run username, actually I create database of 4 users. Can you see the passwords are encrypted now? Now I can use this command. Okay, he accepted. So run AAA. So in the beginning also he accepted, but he gave you the warning. I want if anybody do telnet also. I want if anybody do SSH also. I want if anybody do HTTPS also. So see, I activated AAA for serial connection, telnet connection, SSH connection, HTTP connection. So now if I go out, you see he's asking me username. This is what serial connection. This is enable password. So if somebody is trying to do telnet, who is that somebody? R3 administrator 192.168.10.1. So I need to do what? See, so when I say show I activate SSH also. Cisco. You see username These are the local users. These are the active sessions. Clear? So more topic on AAA I will show you in the next session. I hope today I explained you about AAA basic, that is administrative access, that is console access. Now you have a different type of access, like you are trying to access the resources in your company, or you are trying to reach internet from inside. That time also AAA can come in picture. Now you are having local database. A database from ICE also can be taken into consideration. Earlier we used to have TACAC servers, or you can say ACS or Cisco Secure Access Control servers or LDAP servers. You can integrate the users from LDAP into ASA. You can import them. Nowadays we can use ICE for doing this authentication. Okay. So AAA server, we call it AAA servers. Here now we are using local database. Okay. So there are two protocols available, TACAX plus, which is Cisco proprietary, and Radius, remote authentication dial in user service. TACAX plus is nothing but terminal access controllers, access control server. Cisco proprietary, Radius is open standard. You have a choice. You can go for TACAX, you can go for Radius, you can go for Kerberos. Lot of protocols are there. Microsoft Kerberos is Microsoft. These are all AAA protocols, authentication protocols. We'll do this in the next session. More on AAA. I hope you understood this. Any doubt? Anyone? Any doubt? So meet you on Monday. Have a nice weekend. Bye. Take care.
Okay, bye.